take it can stop an acute attack. So I know in our stores we have an ionic magnesium. You take it, boom, you get almost immediate absorption. It's a liquid ionic. But magnesium citrate forms, aspartate, those types of forms, not an oxide. I see a lot of doctors recommending oxide and I want to scream. Very poor absorption. But the plant sources, ionic sources, will give you much better relief in magnesium. And you can take that on a daily basis, not only for asthma, but obviously for blood pressure and other issues, because it relaxes the vascular flow. Ester C protects the lung tissues, because remember, the lung tissues are very expandable, collagen-rich tissues. So the Ester C helps with that collagen matrix and is also an antihistamine. What they found out is people who had asthmatic triggers before they worked out, if they did 2,000 milligrams of a fizzy C drink or some very absorbable mineral ascorbate or Ester C, in workout they suffered, and I should have said on here, 50% suffered fewer symptoms in asthmatic. 50%. So for all of you Olympic track runners out there that are training in Solvang or Santa Maria or Lompoc, hit the vitamin C, particularly the Ester C sources if you've got asthma, to prevent those triggers during your workout. Quercetin and bromelain. We use this a lot in allergy season to help cut back on allergies because it helps with mast cell production, reduces, well, antihistamine or antihistaminic. But what it does basically is you're going to do 500 milligrams of each of them, preferably on an empty stomach, reducing that inflammation and helping with those allergic responses. Zinc lozenges. What's interesting is anything in the mouth and the tongue absorbs really readily into the bloodstream, and oftentimes what they found is just by doing a zinc lozenge, sucking on a zinc lozenge, you can stop or shorten the duration. 50 milligrams, boom, right in the mouth, can stop or shorten the duration of an asthma attack. A lot of these things are quick, fast, magnesium, zinc, C. These are quick, fast ways for prevention, and if you're in the middle of an attack, to help you with an attack. Obviously, if you've got a bronchial dilator, use whatever you can to stop it. But boy, if you can prevent that asthma attack from ever occurring, hopefully then you don't have to use your steroidal inhaler. And boy, particularly with children, those inhalers, and I know my one younger son, when he was younger, used to use them, and I got him all off of it and no longer asthmatic because we did what I've got down here. They really make the kids hyper, and so as best you can, if you can do other sources. Plus the steroidals really bring down the immune system, other issues, bone building, all those issues are affected by steroidals. Antioxidant formulas in A, C, zinc, selenium, all those types of antioxidants once again help with inflammation and decrease inflammation because they're antioxidant. They take the rust and they neutralize the effect of rust and things that rob the body of oxygen and neutralize them. Full spectrum enzymes. You kind of scratch your head and you kind of think, what does a digestive enzyme have to do with asthma? Well, number one, poor absorption of nutrients. Number two, inadequate amounts of stomach acids not only contribute to poor absorption of nutrients, but inflammation. There was one study out on using something called betaine hydrochloride because most people lack stomach enzyme or lack stomach acids. They don't have too much. There's very few of those that have that issue, and that's a subject for another day. But having adequate amounts of these enzymes break the food down, help you utilize the nutrients, and help with the pH in the stomach as well, so you can be less inflamed. Lycopene, another study. Boy, lots of good studies. Lycopene studied an awful lot for being anti-prostate cancer. Also found half of the people with exercise-induced asthma, another exercised one, 30 milligrams once a day for 1 week. 50% of them had a reduction in their asthmatic triggers or their asthmatic attacks during exercise. Simple, basic, inexpensive types of things that can be done versus using the bronchial dilator. Cordyceps. They help reduce bronchial secretions and increase lung function. It's kind of funny. I have some of my older customers that come in, and a couple of them went off to Peru. And I use Cordyceps because I do high altitude marathons. I enjoy doing those, and when you're in sea level like we are here in the valley, or close to it, and you get to 7,000 or 8,000 feet, you're trying to pull in oxygen. Well, the Cordyceps have found, and the Chinese athletes in one of the Olympics a couple of decades ago, they were all running better, faster, and everything, and they couldn't figure out the reason why. Cordyceps really aid the ability to utilize oxygen. And these older customers that I talked about that went to Peru, and we're talking 60s and 70s, that normally get altitude sickness, no symptoms. They had the guides asking them to give them their leftover Cordyceps so they could use them for their people that were trying to hike in these higher 10,000 and above areas in the Andes Mountains in Peru. Homeopathy. There are specific homeopathic remedies, and what you can do, you can either go online or you can look up in a book. I think going online is great. And you can, or homeopathic doctor is actually always the best. But you can list a series of symptoms, and there's particular homeopathics that can match those symptoms depending on what your issues are with asthmatic attacks. I know in our stores we have one book that we can refer to and open up, and I can say, okay, what are your symptoms? What sounds the most like? I can go over to my homeopathic counter, pull off that homeopathic, they can take it under the tongue and get some relief. Very quick, fast remedy, and homeopathics are probably one of the most successful ways to deal with allergies as well. Go online and research a little bit more about homeopathy. It's been around longer than modern American medicine. How's that? Or actually, it was the first modern American medicine other than herbs. Pycnogenol, very, very anti-inflammatory. Actually, there was a recent article written by a physician about it being very effective. I know in my stores, I've sold almost a dozen pycnogenols just this last week for arthritis. But pycnogenol also helps with inflammation pertaining to asthma. Greens. We talked about greens in the diet, but there are some super green foods that you can intake. Spirulina, I'm going to say it right here, spirulina, chlorella. Anything that's a superfood green helps oxygenate. We use this for COPD patients, asthma. If people aren't good vegetable green eaters, come in, you can grab them in pill form, you can grab them in powder form, whatever it is. But these super greens alkali the blood and they oxygenate so that you can breathe better. And if you're an athlete like I am, you can perform better and breathe better. I used to have a little bronchial dilator. Absolutely. And so did my younger son. And when I would go out on my athletic events, particularly climbing, I lived in Phoenix at the time, my inhaler went with me until I learned these key tips about reducing my asthmatic response and alkaline the blood. Super greens, simple, easy food sources. You can mix them outright, take them in pills. But if I have to stress anything, get your vegetables, alkali your blood, look at your diet. I'm hoping this gave you some good basic information on what to address for asthma. Research some more on your own, and like I said, there was a tons more research. I could have spent a couple hours on this lecture, but hey, I only got 19 or 20 minutes. So anyway, we're going to be moving on to the next portion of our show, which is the fitness portion. Thank you. Hi, welcome to the fitness portion of our show. And today, rather than moving and grooving, I want to talk a little bit about diet and the timing of eating when you're trying or starting a weight loss program. Number one, don't eat carbohydrates late at night. So, a good protein with a salad, otherwise your body doesn't have time to use those calories. Second tip, spread out your meals, 300 to 400 calories at a meal, 5 meals, nice small meals. That way all you're going to do is you're going to fill your liver glycogen supply up and you're not going to store it as